Hi, and welcome along to World Cup Daily, the show that talks about World Cup and Arsenal news. You know what? Let's park up the World Cup news for now and get straight into it. What a fantastic day it was yesterday with the announcement that Arsenal had finally bagged their man. Alexis Sanchez is officially an Arsenal player. What an outstanding signing for Arsenal. I mean, listen, it's been brewing and brewing for the past few weeks, and a lot of Arsenal fans out there, like even myself included, at times thought to myself, "Oh, please not let this be another Higuain. Please not let this be another Luis Suarez." But Arsenal pulled it off. I was at the launch of the new Puma kit last night down there in central London in Carnaby Street in the store. And just before they brought some of the players on stage to show us the new kit, which, by the way, is a lovely kit what Puma have got, they made the announcement. They said, listen, just got to tell you before we do this that we have signed Alexis Sanchez today. Alexis Sanchez is an Arsenal player, and the whole place just went, everybody clapping, everybody cheering. It's such a big signing for Arsenal fans. This guy potentially can become, a very similar player to like an Aguero, or he can become similar to even a Luis Suarez. And the other good thing about this signing is that we all know that Liverpool were desperate to sign Alexis Sanchez. Right at the start of the whole Suarez deal, Liverpool were saying things like, well, you know what, we want Alexis Sanchez plus money. Juventus wanted him as well. They were prepared to pay even more wages than we were, but Alexis Sanchez has chosen to come to Arsenal, and that is a big statement of intent at Arsenal Football Club. It was Ozil last year, now Alexis Sanchez, and we're adding world-class players to a already excellent team, and it can only make things better. I spoke to Mikel Arteta last night, and he said that he felt that, it's another one of those signings that's going to lift everybody at the club. And I also spoke to Ivan Gazidis last night. I don't know if you've seen the video of that. Make sure you check that out. We was down there on the Thames for that display by the London Eye by Puma. And I spoke to Ivan Gazidis. I congratulated him. I said to him, listen, we give you a lot of stick, but we've got to congratulate you on this one. You pulled this one across the line. And he said to me that, listen, there's more to come. We're busy working on more signings. I was trying to find out if it was a holding midfielder, but of course, he's not going to elaborate. But a major signing for Arsenal, a major coup for Arsenal to nick him off one of your rivals. Liverpool, one of our main rivals, of course, they've got a bit weaker by losing Suarez, and we've got stronger. We've gained out of the whole thing. And John W. Henry, what are we smoking over here? I'll tell you what, we're smoking the good stuff, because we've got our man, Alexis Sanchez. Great signing for Arsenal Football Club. Just before I talk about a couple of other players, just to mention that Puma launched last night. Thanks to everybody at Puma. Really enjoyed the launch down there at the Puma shop. I was privileged to go down there. Got to meet Santi Cazorla, Mikel Arteta, Matthew Flamini. It was really, and I'll tell you what, the new kits, all three of them. I had my doubts at first about the blue sort of striped one, but I love it. I love all three of the kits. This is the red one. You got to get it yourself. There's such a tradition. That's the red one. Really like it. Luckily, I was very lucky, if you might be able to see it there, got it signed by Mikel Arteta to Arsenal Fan TV. There it is, Mikel Arteta signed, and also Santi Cazorla. And I'm loving this. Puma's done a really great job on that. So well done to Puma with the new Arsenal kit. And a lot of that Puma money, as I said, is getting spent. The other target Arsenal apparently looking at, this really hotting up, is Sami Khedira. Again, it would be a brilliant signing by Arsenal if they could pull that one across the line. Emerging yesterday that Sami Khedira has turned down a 2-year extension to his contract. He's only got 1 year left. And when you've got only 1 year left on your contract, you're starting to move into that danger zone where clubs can come in and make you offers, and it's very hard to turn it down. Well, Sami Khedira got 1 year left on his contract. The only sticking point apparently is that he wants a lot of wages, but it looks like, I don't know, I just got that feeling when I was talking to Ivan Gazidis last night that he is the guy that they're going after, either him or Lars Bender. but that smile that was on Ivan Gazidis' face was like, we've got something else big coming. You wait and see. And I'm hoping that that's true. So Sami Khedira, you know, there's a paper, El Confidencial, over there in Spain that are linking him heavily to Arsenal. Now that Sanchez has come, you know, anything's possible because players are going to be looking at it. Ozil's there, Sanchez is there, Ramsey's there, Walcott's there. It's a great proposition all of a sudden to go to Arsenal. The Matthew Debuchy deal is the deal that's probably going to be over the next few days. That will probably be the next deal that gets tied up. From how I've understood that deal is done. They're just sorting out a few little terms with Newcastle. But Matthew Debuchy, and another deal, I've been talking about this one all summer, and that is the deal for Loic Remy. Apparently Arsenal, you know, even though they bought Sanchez, I think they still realise that they need more strikers. Don't want to get caught short like last season, and apparently they're still in negotiations with Loic Remy, who costs about £8 million. I think that's a no-brainer to me. Loic Remy is a very, very good striker, underrated, and I think if he did come in, he could do a great job for Arsenal. But I'm just looking forward to seeing. I can't wait to see Arsenal run out this season with some of the players that we're getting linked with. If we can pull some of those off, we'll have a fantastic team. And another player that I mentioned yesterday was Winston Reid of West Ham. I was chatting to a mate of mine yesterday, and he's a West Ham supporter. And I said to him, I said, apparently Arsenal are looking heavily at Winston Reid if the Marlin was to leave. And he goes, oh, no, 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 you're not touching him. He's brilliant. Go away, get lost, Arsenal. He is a very, very talented footballer, Winston Reid, and apparently Arsenal are looking at him as a replacement for Thomas Vermaelen if Vermaelen was to leave. On the World Cup front, of course, tomorrow is what you call the proverbial damp squid, which is the third and fourth place playoffs for the World Cup. I suppose they have to do it. Brazil taking on Holland. It's not going to be much of a game, is it? Holland are probably going to rest off of their team. You won't see players like Van Persie. I doubt you'll see players like Robin, etc. Maybe we'll see some of those Dutch youngsters get a run out. And for Brazil, wow, I don't know how Brazil are going to approach this game, because if they go out there and they win the games, even if they was to thrash the Dutch, say 3-4-0, it would be the Dutch's sort of second team, and nobody will forgive them for that 7-1. And if they was to lose that game, they'll get even more stick. I think one thing's for sure, Phil Scolari, his days are numbered as the manager of Brazil. He's been a legend for them. He's done great things. But it just appears that this time round, sticking with players like Fred, like Joe, Hulk, you know, it's going to cost him. You know, Brazil, I don't know. I look at that Brazil team, and it's just not the Brazil teams that I remember of times gone by. I mean, it's a very European-style team, a team packed with holding midfielders and defensive midfielders. There's no creativity in the midfield. I mean, you've got Gustavo's a holding midfielder, so is Paulinho. You know, Ramirez is a holding midfielder. The flair is not there, especially when Neymar's not in that team. And there's going to have to be a real rebuilding process of that Brazilian team. And I get the feeling that the Brazilian public want the Brazil team to return back to the days when they had flair players. You know, I mean, why was Lucas Moura? That's what I was thinking yesterday. Lucas Moura, why was he not in the team? You know, why? You know, and Scolari, who's stuck rigidly to some of those players like Fred, is going to pay the price. And I think tomorrow will be probably his last game for Brazil. I can't see how he can stay on after that humiliating defeat in the semi-finals, even though he probably would like to just try and put it right. But he's just, I think it's all over for Phil Scolari. Let's get into some of your comments. A lot of overjoyed Gooners out there. Gooner779 says Schneiderlin or Khedira. Dick Patel says Khedira. QNR Arsenal says, Robbie, if you're allowed 3 more realistic signings this summer window, who would they be? Realistic signings. Listen, I would take, listen, we need a holding midfielder, so it's definitely got to be, to me, somebody like a Sami Khedira or a Javi Martinez. Those would be my favourite, but realistically, I suppose you've got to say Sami Khedira. I think Loic Remy would be a good shout as well up front. And Debuchy, I think, as well, realistically would be a great signing, or Winston Reid or somebody like that. But of course, we need more than three. We need a goalkeeper. There's still a lot of work to be done. As Ivan Gazidis said last night, there's still a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot of players that Arsenal need to bring in because they're still short on numbers in a few departments. And even when, as I said, I spoke to Mikel Arteta last night, and he said to me that there are a lot of players coming in. But the good thing about it is that the squad is there. It's a solid squad, so it's not going to be destabilised too much. These are players coming in to add. We're not going to get a Tottenham situation where you've got like just loads of new players in all the key positions. I think that the transition should be really good. And you know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Scalito99 just simply says Sanchez. Woo! Domago Curson says, I'm sorry if I pronounce your first name wrong, mate, but it's he says great signing, awesome. Abadubi, it's written in Arabic. I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't can't read Arabic. I'll have to get some lessons in, but sorry, I can't read Arabic. But I'm sure he's saying something good about Alexis Sanchez. Priyank Patel says, if we now get Khedira and Debuchy, I think we can challenge for the league. And I agree with that. I mean, we're building a strong squad. Edwin Cruz here says, hey, Robbie, do you still think Griezmann is still a possibility? I don't know. Again, he's a player that I really, really enjoyed watching in the World Cup. He lived up to all the hype for me. And he's a left-sided player. And I still think, you know, there's room for bringing in a player like Griezmann. I know that midfield's starting to get congested now, but Griezmann was very impressive to me. Q Gooner says Joel Campbell on loan. Listen, it's a possibility. He is coming back. I read yesterday where he said that he is coming back to Arsenal for training, but he didn't like sort of concretely state that he's definitely going to be staying at Arsenal, or whether he's going to be going on loan. I'd like to see him get a run. He deserves it. He's gone out on loan and he's done the business out on loan, and I think it's time to give this kid a chance. Michael Cooney says, I love the home and away kit. I'm glad we dropped the blue off the home kit, right? And I'm telling you what, I loved all three of the Puma kits, and I'm not just saying that to suck up because I went to the Puma event. I'm being 100% honest. I really, really love all three of the kits. I think Puma have done an excellent, excellent job. Long may it continue, but really love it. Shalito199 says, what about Mandzukic? Well, Mandzukic is definitely on his way to Atletico Madrid, so I think that's definitely done. I was thinking to myself, what about Benzema? Is Benzema still available? Would that be asking too much to go and get Benzema? Alistair Hedge says, poor Monreal getting his 17 shirt taken away. He says, listen, I don't think that will make much of a difference. You're a professional footballer. Numbers, I know some of them are superstitious, but numbers shouldn't matter. Just make sure you get yourself in the team. That's the main thing. Pavan says, Pogba will be good for our midfield. He would be good, but he'd be very, very expensive. And I really don't think Juventus are going to sell that prize asset, or if they do, you're looking at that sort of money that you're seeing being paid for Suarez. It'd be crazy money. Signals927 says great kit. Now we have to see the rest of the signings come. I agree with that. John Melville says, can Arsenal still go for Balotelli instead of Remy? Going back to that interview that Arsene Wenger did a couple of weeks ago about Balotelli, I really don't think that will happen. To me, it seemed pretty conclusive in there that he's definitely not going to go for Balotelli. But then, you never know. You never know with Arsene Wenger, do you? Space Gooner 222 says, I'm glad that Wenger is doing his business early. Me too. It's so good that Wenger is, you know, getting out there. Gazidis are getting out there. They've obviously been working really, really hard behind the scenes to pull off this Sanchez deal. A lot of people criticising Wenger for being over there on the beach, not doing anything. He's obviously been doing lots of work. He's obviously been using his time over there in Brazil to talk to players who have been at the World Cup. So, it's great that they pulled off these deals. We've got to give credit when it's due. We slate them, quite rightly so. We slate them when they don't pull off signings, when they're very inactive in the transfer market. So when they pull off something like this, we've got to give them full credit to them. Karodi says, Robbie, I saw that smile. There's nothing there but a businessman. Nothing giving away. He's not giving away anything. I think he's talking about Ivan Gazidis. It was really good actually, because Ivan Gazidis, when I came up to him, he said, "Oh, you're Arsenal Fan TV." That means he's been watching it. That means he's listening to when fans are talking about various issues. So that's good that the club are listening to fans. Let me see if I can just get a couple of more in because time is running. Theo says Lars Bender, Schneiderlin or Kadira. He'd like to see them coming. Michael says Sanchez. I'll tell you, it's that is the theme of today. Recovery 82 says, is it me or is it just me? Was last year's kit better? No, listen, for me, I like last year's yellow kit. It was really, really nice kit by Nike. But the yellow kit that Puma have got is a really, really nice kit as well. Loving that. And I just think that Puma have done a great job. Really, really great job. Listen, I'm going to leave it there. There's so many comments. Thanks for everybody who sent in their comments today. It's been a very exciting day for Arsenal fans yesterday. Leading into today, you're going to see loads more stuff for Sanchez. Check out a load of our videos from last night where we was at the Puma kit launch. Really, really amazing stuff down there. It was great last night to meet the legendary Michael Thomas. That was one of the highlights of my night last night. And again, he came up and said, I watch Arsenal Fan TV and I love it. He came over to me and I was like, oh my, this is Michael Thomas. You know, I was like, you're ledge. And it was, he looked well, he looked great. And that guy, he's given me one of my all-time favourite Arsenal moments, Michael Thomas. And it was great to see him last night at that Puma kit launch. He's such a nice guy. But I'm buzzing here. Sanchez is a Gooner. Arsenal fans, have a good day. This is a good day to be a Gooner for once. No doom and gloom, just optimism.